In this video, I'm going to show you how to graph a linear and nonlinear functions on a TI-83 graphing calculator. I will also help you find the zeros of a linear and a nonlinear function. And then also with the nonlinear function, I can show you how to find the maximum or minimum depending on what kind of function you have. So the first thing we're going to do is just turn our calculator on, and we're going to hit the y equals button. And this is where you're going to type in the equation of your function. So I'm first going to go through a linear function. So I'm going to just choose, I'll just say 2x, so y equals 2x, and I'll do plus 3. So for this one, the 3 is just telling us the y-intercept, and the 2 is telling us it's a positive slope. But if I just type this in here and I hit the graph button, you can see that my graph is going up from left to right. So I have a slope that's positive. And I just want to find the zeros here. The 0, remember, means the x-intercept. So I can see that it crosses about right here. But if I want to find exactly where that crosses, all I would have to do is hit the second button, trace, and then you see my options here. I want to choose option 2. So find the zeros, and then you'll notice that it says left bound right here. Left bound means I need to go to the left of the x-intercept. And I'm going to use the arrows right here. So I'm going to go to the left. To the left of the x-intercept, in this case, means I have to go below the x-axis. And then once I'm there, I click enter. And then you notice it says right bound. That means I have to go to the right of the x-intercept, which means I have to go above the x-intercept to go on the right-hand side of that. Once I'm there, I hit enter, and then it says guess. The guess means I got to now determine what my answer, my x-intercept would be. So I hit enter a third time. When I do that, it says I have a 0 when x is a negative 1.5. So our x-intercept in this example would be a negative 1.5. Now there is no maximum or minimum in here because it doesn't change directions. This is just one consistent slope going up from left to right. Now let's go through a nonlinear example. So again, I'm going to hit the y equals button. And in my y equals, I have my old equation. I'm going to clear that one. And then I'm going to type in a new equation. This one's going to be a quadratic, which means it's parabola shaped. So I'm going to hit x. I'm going to hit the x squared to put the exponent on it. And then I'll do plus 2x minus 6. So this will be a trinomial. Now if I hit graph, you can see my shape here. It looks like here I have two x-intercepts. It crosses the x-axis here and it crosses the x-axis here. And then I'll show you also how to find the lowest point or the minimum of this parabola. So the first thing I'm going to do is hit the second button and trace. And again, you see our different options here. We're going to find the zeros first. So I'm going to hit option 2 again. And there you see our phrase left bound. So we have to do this twice because we have 2 zeros. So I'm going to go to the furthest left I can go on our parabola. Now this time, left of the x-intercept right here means I have to be above the x-axis because I'm over to the left of the x-intercept. Once I'm to the left of it, I hit enter. Right bound means I keep going to the right until I get past the x-intercept. So if I were to draw a vertical line at the x-intercept, you can see I'm now to the right of that x-intercept. And in this case, it's going to be below the x-axis. Hit enter. Guess means I need to hit my answer. And you'll notice that the 0, when y is 0, my x-intercept is a negative 3.645751. Now, depending on your teacher or your book that you're using, they might tell you to round it to a specific amount. Here, I would just say I'll round it to 2 decimal places or the nearest hundredth. So I would say this is about negative 3.645751. 1.65. So that would be one of their zeros. To find the other zero over here, I would hit second, trace. Again, choose number 2, or 0. Left bound, so I go to the other side. Left bound means I have to be to the left of this x-intercept. So if I were to draw a line straight down, a vertical line through here, I have to be to the left of it, which just means I'm going to be underneath the x-intercept this time. So I hit enter. And then right bound means I have to keep going to the right. And again, if I drew a vertical line across the x-intercept, I just have to be to the right of that. And you can see the blinking cursors to the right of it or above the x-axis. Hit enter, guess, hit enter a third time, and it'll tell us that when y is 0, x would be about 1.65. So that's how you can find the zeros with a linear and a nonlinear function. Well, one last thing, the parabola has a minimum, a low point. So if we want to find out what that minimum would be, again, I would hit second, trace. Minimum would be number 3. And I would just have to go left bound, means go to the left of the vertex or the low point. Hit enter. Right bound means go to the right of the vertex or the low point. Hit enter, and then guess, hit enter a third time. And you can see that the low point, when you see a negative 1.00002, just know that that is just saying that the x coordinate of the vertex here is -1. And we have a low point at a y value of -7. So we would say as an ordered pair, the minimum would be -1, -7. So that is how you can use your TI-83 graphing calculator to graph a linear and nonlinear function, and also to find the zeros of each of those functions.